Hi everyone, how are you doing? My name is Patience Oshinake. I'm a child protection advocate. An early childhood educator, someone who's passionate about the holistic development of a child, a radio host, and a swim instructor, and of course, a teacher trainer. In my spare time, I support teachers on how they can improve their practices working with children in and out of the classroom. And I'm also very big on parental involvement in ensuring that our children are getting the best learning and teaching experience as they grow. And today, I'll be sharing with you on child protection and safety and why it is important for you as an educator to equip yourself with the right knowledge and all that is involved in ensuring that your environment is safe for you, for the children, and every other member of the school community. So let's go into it. Yeah, so child safety and protection, what is it all about? I'm sure you must have heard about this sometime before or you're familiar with the word, which is good. And today we're just going to be reminding ourselves a lot. And if you're just hearing this for the first time, welcome, for joining this session. And it's good to have you here. Now, child safety and protection can be described as any measures that we put in place to ensure that our children are safe. Anything at all, anything that you can that can come to your mind that you can do to ensure that children are safe is child safety and protection. Now, this is important because it also involves creating an environment that is safe for children, which protect them from harm, from neglect, and every other form of exploitation. So, it is your role as a teacher to ensure that the children under your care are safe at all time. They are protected as well. We cannot overemphasize the importance of this. But I say this all the time to my minders, to people who work with me, teaching assistants. For me, safety over academics. If a child is not safe, how do you help them learn? How do you teach them? How do you work with them? And if a parent feels that their child is not safe, they're not going to trust you. There'll be issues every now and then. So safety first over academics. If a child feels safe, if they're happy in your environment, you can tell that my environment is free of harm, of abuse, of exploitation, of violence, of anything that could harm the child, during their period of growing and exploring, then that's it. All right. So, but first off, as an educator, you need to have a deeper knowledge of the things that could harm a child. All right. And we have different types of, abuses. We have physical abuse, we have sexual abuse, we have emotional abuse, we have monetary abuse. Yes, monetary abuse. We have, a whole lot of it. And some of these things you could tell when you look at a child, when you're being observant, when you're being when you're being observant, when you're being sensitive to the needs of the child, okay, which is very key. And remember that observation is one of the top skills of an educator, okay? So anything at all that you could see that is a change in a child. For example, if you have a child who comes to school looking very happy, and on these other days the child is just moody and he or she doesn't want to talk to anybody, you should be concerned. Maybe on another day, there's a child who wants to go to the restroom to pee and he's staying there longer than he should, or he's complaining of some pains in the private part. You should be concerned. Or you have a child who comes to school with money, gift items that he can't explain. And when I say a child, anyone below the age of 18, yes. Even though we have them in different groups, we have the toddler, we have the other ones, the 20, the preteen, and the young adults, but there is still a child, and we have the sole responsibility to cater and also watch out for them to be sensitive to the things that they're exposed to. All right, now how do we familiarize ourselves with all of this? Like I said, we have to be observant, we have to be vigilant, and we have to be able to tell when something doesn't feel right. There's a slogan that we use in child protection, that is, if you see something, you say something, you escalate, like, quickly. All right, now one of the things that you want to ensure to know that to ensure in keeping children safe is to create a safe learning environment. It is very important. How do you do that? You have to first of all welcome inclusivity. Yes, everybody is a member of the school community. Everyone should know their role in protecting the children and keeping them safe. Everybody, I mean the minders, the assistant, even you as a teacher, your school should have a child protection policy that you share copies with the children. The older ones that can read, you also share with protecting the child. when it comes to safeguarding the child. So it shouldn't be a thing of, oh, I'm the teacher, or I'm just the minder, or I'm just teaching assistant. I don't know what to do. And of course, it is important. In fact, it is mandatory that every school, have someone who holds the post of the child protection officer, a designated child protection officer in your school that you can always report cases to. All right, very important. Another way to create a safe learning environment is to establish clear boundaries and expectations for behavior with students, with children, with the teachers, with the minders, with the drivers. Everybody should know that if you are around children, these are the expected behaviors. We're not asking you to pretend, we're asking you to be yourself, but to do the right thing. Okay, to ensure that your actions, the words coming out from your mouth, the phone calls you are having, your conversations with other people should be something that promotes a safe environment for the child. Remember, we're not just looking at physical harm, we're looking at emotional harm, the other words, verbal and all of that. So everybody needs to have that understanding that boundaries are very important, and what you do around them, goes a long way in shaping them and ensuring that the environment is safe for them as well. Implement policies, like I said, policies, procedures should always be in place. It is important. As a teacher, you should know your role when it comes to protecting the children, when it comes to ensuring that your environment is safe and it's sane for everybody. Yes, protecting the children from themselves, protecting you from the children, protecting the children from you, as well. It is very important. Another way is also to recognize and respect our cultural differences when addressing child protection issues. Now, one of the issues that we always have in this environment in Africa is I'm going to cite this example, right? We're very big, or we're sensitive to issues like hair. Yes, hair, head, clothes, and all of that. So if you have a child in your class that, or one of these days, the child went home and maybe a part of the uniform has been taken out with the scissors, the parents are going to come after you. Okay, so you want to ensure that that doesn't happen. And how do you do that? You have to keep your environment clean, you have to keep it safe, and you have to be there, you have to be able to observe and see what you're doing, because and when a parent even comes and tell you I'm really concerned about these things, and we don't have to be culturally biased or discard what they're saying. We have to take it, analyze it, and discuss next steps, all in the interest of the child. Now, when we have issues like this, and there could be other things, the online safety, ensuring that they are fine and all of that. But when we have all of these issues, safety issues, protection issues, how do we communicate it? How do we pass on the message? How do we address issues? Like I said, first off, your school should have policy. Your school should have policy. Your school should have a designated child protection officer that you can always report these issues to. Then your school should also have, or even you should also have, contacts of NGOs around your school. Okay, because we have NGOs all over the place that are always ready to pick up issues and to address them as they fit without wasting time. Because we want to ensure that the child, is safe. Now, reporting when there are cases of harms, abuses, violence, exploitation. Abuse could be anything: physical, sexual, maybe, or in the layman's English, or like we always like to say, sometime in this part of the world, we say, "Oh, God forbid." But in a case where a minder or a teacher was caught molesting a child sexually in the bathroom or in the school, in the classroom, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna cover up? Are you gonna escalate? Or a child walks up to you and tell you that, oh, Miss Patience, someone is molesting me in my house, when my dad is doing this to me, my uncle is doing this to me. What are you gonna do? Because like I said from the beginning, you also have a role to play in protecting the child. The first thing you need to do, you need to know that it's your legal obligation to report cases. It is your right. You have to. It is your job. It is your role to report cases, to report abuses, to report suspected, neglect or anything. It is your legal obligation to do that. Yes, a lot of the time we've seen children who have had to endure abuse for so long because they reported to somebody, maybe it could be their teacher, or no, someone closer to them, and the person didn't do anything. Yes, I've had cases like that I've had to intervene, when they had to bring it to my table later on. So it is your legal obligation to report cases, either or the evidence are there or not. Suspected abuse, suspected neglect, it is your responsibility to report it. And secondly, you have to understand the importance of documenting. Document the act. If a child walks up to you and tell you, well, this is how I feel, if you don't have a mobile phone to record it, get something. Ask the child to draw a picture. Draw a picture of this and tell me what happened. Can you just put it down? There are ways to go about this, but I'm sure that we'll have more time later to really run through it. But please understand the importance of documenting. You have to be on top of it. You want to ensure that you have all your evidence in place. Observed violence or act or harm with a child, within children, or with an adult and another child, or within even a parent and a child. You have to document it. And thirdly, you have to be aware of the authorities and reporting hotlines. So wherever you're listening this, I'm sure that if you're in Lagos, we have the child rescue line. Ogun State. If you're outside Nigeria, you're in Ghana, you're in Somalia, you're in the UK, wherever you're probably watching this session from, I'm sure you have reporting hotlines in your locality that you should have on your phone. You should have these numbers on your phone that you can always reach out to. One of the things that I'm always saying on my radio show, the Child Safeguarding and Protection radio show, is I call out a number. We have a rescue line here in Lagos State that you can always call. When you call the number, you don't even have to. So one of the things I'm always saying here, on the radio show is that you don't even have to tell us your name. Call us and report the cases. We'll be there to take it up. So please do get those hotlines and have them saved on your phone. Even as a teacher, stick it around your classroom. Let your minders know, let your assistant know, let everybody know that when there are issues, this is what we do. We escalate, we report. We go to the child protection designated officer and we let them know that this is what we've observed, or this child has come to report this to us. Don't keep it to yourself, please. If you see something, you say something. That is our slogan. And I must also emphasize again that every child, every parent, every teacher, everyone working with children is a potential child protection advocate. I'll say that again. Everyone is a potential child protection advocate. You can advocate for a child. You can be their voice. You can raise, you can escalate, issues on their behalf. You can speak up for them. You can report cases. When you see something, come out and say it. Don't keep it to yourself. I know that, in Africa, we have this thing. I won't just say Africa. I'll say generally, recently that we don't want to get into trouble. We don't want to be the one that they will call the whistleblower. But please, for the sake of that child to be safe and for that child to be sane and grow up, holistically and, be able to enjoy life as much as we want them to be, please, when there are issues, report it, escalate. And if you need information, please always reach out, update your knowledge, reach out to people that you can always learn from. There are so many online courses on child protection and safety that will benefit you greatly, and you'll be able to do right, to be able to do the right thing when it comes to protecting the children. All right, I'm going to stop here today. My name once again is Patience Oshinaike. I'm a child protection practitioner, an early childhood educator, a swim instructor, and a radio host, and someone who is passionate about community engagement and development. And I hope that you've been able to learn one or two things in this session. I look forward to getting your questions and concerns. And of course, if you want to get more clarity on some of the aspects of protecting children, I'll be glad to share with you. Bye for now.